Happy Thursday. We are here again. I'm here with Corinne, my sidekick today, because Mock is out. Mock is recovering from surgery, getting a kidney stone blown up inside of her. I don't really even know how they do that. They just like exploded or something. I'm not sure, but she's recovering from that because it doesn't sound like a lot of fun. So she's probably sleeping in this morning. So everybody say hi to Corinne. Give her lots of love today. Corinne is the founder of Free Press Fail and also one of our fabulous producers. And she's gorgeous and brilliant. Everybody be nice to her today. I know everybody enjoyed her yesterday. And we're going to enjoy her again today. So we're going to get it started by talking about Trump. I know we're going to get into all sorts of things, you guys. We're going to get into Jimmy Kimmel and everything. I promise you we're going to get there. But first of all, we're going to talk about Trump labeling Antifa a terrorist group after the assassination of Charlie. So this is good news to me, but he has designated Antifa as a major terrorist organization. Authorities haven't confirmed any direct links between Robinson and Antifa, but Pam Bondi, she attributed the violence to left-wing radicals, we know this, which led to Trump's executive action that invokes counterterrorism laws against the groups and networks and fulfills a 2020 campaign promise. So this is just more promise keeping on the part of Trump, which I like. And of course, leftists are butthurt about it because they love criminals and terrorists. And Trump tweeted about it. So we can look at that tweet right now. I think we have a tweet. Do we have a tweet? Yes, we do. He said, I am pleased to inform our many USA patriots that I am designating Antifa a sick, dangerous, radical left disaster as a major terrorist organization. I will also be strongly recommending that those funding Antifa be thoroughly investigated in accordance with the highest legal standards and practices. Thank you for your attention to this matter. So remember when Jerry Nadler said that they didn't exist? Do you remember that? Do you remember that?
I think they're still pretending that they don't really exist.
Right. Yeah, I think this is it. It's a great thing. I think it's about time that this happens, and then maybe they'll understand that they actually do exist and they're causing a lot of problems.
Yeah, I think it's long overdue, especially after, they should have been designated a terrorist organization in 2020.
Right.
When there might be more than that. When more than 60 people died at BLM rallies in this country. I mean, I think that is more than any designated terrorist cell, except for now the cartels are designated terrorists also. But
which is a wonderful thing. Yeah.
That is, but they're the only competition the cartels have. There is no Middle Eastern terrorist cell killing as many Americans inside America as Antifa.
Right. And I just, the fact that they are acting as if they don't exist, or they act as if they do, it's just so typical of liberals. It's kind of like Kamala saying, oh, the border's secure. Everything's fine. Nothing to see here. So again, I feel like we're the party of honesty and forthrightness, and they're the party of lies. And that'll be a theme throughout today, you guys. We're going to be seeing a lot of that today. So speaking of criminals, there was a horrible shooting in York County, Pennsylvania yesterday. There were 3 police officers that were killed and 2 others were critically wounded. The officers were just serving a warrant, and I think it was a domestic dispute. And then the suspect was also killed by police. They say it was a self-inflicted wound, but then they say he was killed by police. So I'm not really sure exactly what happened there. Anyways, we have Josh Shapiro talking about this, and I thought it was important to play this because there was one point that I wanted to draw out of this speech that he made yesterday.
I'll turn it over to the Lieutenant Governor. This kind of violence isn't okay. We need to do better as a society. We need to help the people who think that picking up a gun, picking up a weapon is the answer to resolving disputes. We need to do better when it comes to mental health. We need to do better when it comes to looking out for those who are in need so we don't have to deal with tragedies like this. We got to do better as a society. I know everybody up here believes that, and everybody up here works hard to do that every day. I just think as a community, it's time for us to work hard to heal from this and to make sure that those whose lives were lost today, that something constructive can come from that in their memory that stops this kind of violence in the future.
Okay, so the reason I wanted to play that is because I do actually, I mean, I have to give props where props are due. And I feel like it was important to note that he at least mentioned mental health, because I feel like they always go to the guns. Don't you think they always go to the guns?
Yeah, I think the speech actually is great. I wish that he meant it at all.
Right. Right.
It is those are beautiful words. I think that very appropriate words for this time. And I wish that he and other liberals actually stood behind that and actually wanted to address mental health and not encourage kids to be sick and all of these dangerous things to society that they all get behind.
Right.
I wish he was saying those words and then not, living in a way that directly contradicts them.
Exactly. So extrapolate that and take that mental health thing and walk the walk. Josh, can we do that? Like maybe just do that in the future? Yeah, I would love that. So I just wanted to point that out. If they would do that a little bit more and more liberals would say that and then do it, we would be a lot better off. Let's talk about HealthyCell for a second. Vegan essentials. I actually do not take vegan essentials. I take immune support. Mock takes the vegan essentials. It's now named Daily Multi and Iron and Omega-3, which is a mouthful. But I think they probably renamed it because a lot of people that take vegan essentials were not actually vegans. Mock is one of those people. But Daily Multi and Iron plus Omega-3 is a really, really great multi. And the reason that HealthyCell is so good is because it's 160% more effective and more absorbable by your body. So I take the hair, skin, and nails. You guys, my hair has grown a lot over the past year. It's the only vitamin that has ever worked for my hair. And it's because it is so super absorbable. Literally, I tried everything. HealthyCell has been the best. They have so many different formulations. They're fantastic. I cannot recommend them enough. But the daily, if you're looking for a good daily, the Daily Multi and Iron and Omega-3 is a really great one to try. You can experience all of them. Shop healthycell.com/chicks. Get 20% off your first order with promo code chicks. Get a daily essential. Get all the different ones. Try them. See if you like them. I know that you're going to. That's healthycell.com/chicks. Promo code chicks. So try that. Okay. So there was a vigil for Charlie the night before last, and Democrat lawmakers didn't give a single crap because why would they give a single crap? Hakeem Jeffries was asked about that, and we have a video.
For Charlie Kirk, we counted only a handful of Democrats being there. Is there a reason for that?
I don't know. I guess you'd have to talk to individual Democrats as to what else was going on and why they were present and why they weren't present.
What about you?
I had a meeting. Thanks.
Okay. All right. So he did a video back in May. It was like this really long, kind of like a memorial video, like a remembrance, an anniversary type video for George Floyd. It was like a 5-year anniversary thing. George Floyd was a criminal. Charlie Kirk obviously was not. I just find this whole thing to be really interesting, like who they support and who they don't. Pay attention to that stuff. We are not the same, Oh, I can't hear you, Corinne. Uh-oh.
Oh, you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now. Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry about that. Well, I just don't know why Hakeem is being so grumpy about all of this when all he had to say is, I couldn't make it. I had a meeting, but obviously everyone should memorialize Charlie in the way that they feel is appropriate or something. And said he's like, of course I wasn't there. I had a meeting. Like, I'm important.
Right. They're so flippant about it. But we're starting to see karma in some of these people. I feel like karma, I always talk to Mock about karma and she's like, when is it coming, Daisy? I don't ever see karma in some of these people because they're so awful. And I'm like, it'll come. Sometimes it just takes some time. And I feel like we're seeing karma with Jimmy Kimmel. Because we're going to get to the freak out over him getting fired, but my take on this is twofold. Okay. So one, he lied. He just flat out lied. He said things that were untrue on the air about a public assassination. Okay. Which is just, it's not okay. It's irresponsible. And it's a huge part of the propaganda problem that we have in this country. And then the second part of it is maybe, just hear me out, maybe he's just not funny and he sucks. And the network was looking for a reason to fire him in the first place. So this could have been just a nice little reason for them to get rid of him, because I've seen the guy. I don't think he's that great. I don't think he's funny. So he calls himself a comedian, but he's a TDS ridden hack, and he hasn't been funny for a very long time. So it could just be an excuse to do that. But this is the clip in question. And this, I guess, is what they fired him based on this clip, this is what he said.
Over the weekend, with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them, and doing everything they can to score political points from it. In between the finger pointing, there was grieving. On Friday, the White House flew the flags at half staff, which got some criticism. But on a human level, you can see how hard the president is taking this.
My condolences on the loss of your friend Charlie Kirk. May I ask, sir, personally, how are you holding up over the last day and a half, sir?
I think very good. And by the way, right there, you see all the trucks? They've just started construction of the new ballroom for the White House, which is something they've been trying to get, as you know, for about 150 years. And it's going to be a beauty.
Yes. He's at the fourth stage of grief, construction.
The lies, right? Like, I mean, the lies about pushing this on MAGA. We're seeing this a lot. I'm going to give you another example of this, but what I don't think that these people understand is that the lying is part of the problem, because the propaganda and the lying about who Charlie was is part of the reason why Charlie was murdered to begin with. So all
Absolutely.
all the propaganda and all the lies that went into the lies that he told the other night is, I mean, they're part of the problem. And it's like these people cannot look in the mirror and understand that is their hatred and their TDS and their constant deflection, not being able to look in the mirror and have any self-reflection about how they're part of this, is adding to this culture where it led to a man's death.
Yeah, it's a complete dehumanization by the left. But I think that monologue, or whatever he calls that you just played, is an example of what you're saying. I think he's just not funny. I don't think people like his show.
Right. Mm-hmm.
You're, like, when you think about it's supposed to be a late night comedy show, and that's the joke that he made in his monologue. There's nothing funny about that. Like, why would you even want to bring up an assassination in the first place?
Right.
But Then you want to talk about how the president is grieving, and at no point is it funny. He's not good at his job.
And to make a light of it, like 20, 30 years ago, think about Johnny Carson doing that, you guys. Like and then nowadays you got liberals going, oh my God, that's the people that were laughing at him, the sheep in the audience that were like, oh, we're supposed to laugh at this. Okay, let's laugh because we're supposed to do that. It's gross. The shaking, the way that they don't have any critical thinking skills whatsoever. They can't sit back and go, this is not right. This is not funny. This guy is a complete jerk. And I shouldn't be laughing at a joke or a non-joke about an assassination and a lie, which is exactly what he was doing. He was lying. So people are obviously butthurt about it. But first, let me show you guys the tweet that Trump sent out about it. I guess we can still call it a tweet, right? If it's on X, it's a tweet. But this is what he said about it. Great news for America. The ratings challenge Jimmy Kimmel show is canceled. Congratulations to ABC for finally having the courage to do what had to be done. Kimmel has zero talent and worse ratings than even Colbert. If that's possible, that leaves Jimmy and Seth, two total losers on fake news NBC. Their ratings are also horrible. Do it, NBC. President Donald J. Trump. So, I mean, and now, of course, the left is like, oh my God, it's an autocracy. He's a dictator. He's the one who's doing this. I don't agree. I think that the networks are like, these people suck. They're out of control. They're lying. Take it for what it is. And also, you're not entitled to a job. You're just not.
They will refuse to acknowledge, Trump did win. More than half this country did support Trump. And they still think that like catering to liberal culture is popular, that's what the networks are going to want. And it's like, you need to meet the people where they are, which is not at all where Jimmy Kimmel is.
Right.
And it's just, they cry about it all the time. Like, I can't believe you're canceling us. It's like, well, maybe try to talk to your audience. You can't just expect to be employed when nobody likes you anymore. Your whole job is to be likable.
Yeah. Yep. And we have a clip from Van Jones, but before we play that, I think about Roseanne Barr, she was an actual comedian. Imagine what she's thinking today. Because I mean, she's like, hey, remember me when I got shut down for tweets? Like I got completely canceled and my show got taken away from me and other people took it over because of tweets. I mean, you guys remember, and the left was delighted about that. Absolutely delighted. And now they're like, oh my gosh, you can't take his show away from him. You can't tell him that he can't have a show anymore just based on the fact that he may suck. That maybe, and he lied. That's what he did. He lied. So here's Van Jones reacting to this because he's so upset, you guys.
Not to knuckle under, not to do what we're told, but to stand up and to say, listen, if you want to pull these licenses, then we're going to go to court and we'll be in the court of public opinion. But you don't get to go on a podcast and set policy for American media, for an American media institution that's been around a lot longer than me, you, or Donald Trump. This is a red line that has been crossed for our industry, for the First Amendment, for the right of people to speak. There was nothing hateful about what was said.
Yeah, the First Amendment thing. Somebody needs to show me where in the First Amendment that it says that losing your job at a private company, like because you brought disrespect to the company, is, you know, by your shitty words and your shitty actions and you lying is somehow unconstitutional. I need to see where that is. Can somebody show me where that is? Because it's not in there.
Yeah, I also think Disney, you know, ABC and Disney are one, and they just had a huge lawsuit with Gina Carano, who was fired for much less of an offense than Jimmy Kimmel just displayed there. So I think that whatever reason they're letting him go, they have a pretty good foundation for, probably bad ratings, advertisers dropping out, because they're not going to risk another lawsuit over being canceled for speech. So I would love to see the actual reasoning. I know it has to go beyond this rude comment. I think advertisers probably threatened them. I know Sinclair said that they won't air the show at all. That's a huge hit to a network like ABC. They have a lot of reason to let him go, even more than just this stupid comment, which was stupid. And it was hateful to not just Charlie. It was hateful to MAGA as a whole.
Right.
So
to half the country.
This idea, like, it didn't insult anyone. Yeah, it insulted 80 million Americans at least. So
right.
I
think you're right about having, you know, probably a folder's worth of stuff that they have on him where, you know, they have a bunch of ammunition, for lack of a better phrase. But, you know, I think that they probably have stuff where they're like, his ratings suck and everything. Just like, you know, it's Colbert. Colbert was lousy at his job for probably a really long time, and they were paying him and they didn't want to do it anymore. He was making a lot of money for sucking. And they were like, you know what? He is a money suck at this point, and we don't want to pay him anymore. So we're not going to do it. That's entertainment. If the guys at the top and the people and the companies are not making money and you're not providing a service to the sponsors, that's entertainment. That's how it works. You have to be able to do that. And these guys have literally been political. And that's not what it's supposed to be about. I mean, it used to be that these late night hosts they were funny and they would get a political jab in once in a while. And it was kind of like South Parky, where they would make fun of everybody. And they don't do that now. It's just been severe TDS. It's like these guys just have a sickness, and it's obvious to everybody with a brain. And so I think that it's just like, they got to the point where they were like, okay, enough is enough. We just can't do this. So but the entitlement mentality is it's crazy. So now they're trying to turn it around and say, oh my God, free speech. They're trying to shut down free speech. He's an autocrat. He's a dictator. He's doing all this stuff. So Chuck Schumer is getting in on it. And of course, you know, Schumer's making the rounds talking about democracy. So here's him freaking out about it.
To this.
It is outrageous. It's a page right out of Xi's playbook.
Oh my God.
This is just despicable, disgusting, and against democratic values. Trump and his allies seem to want to shut down speech that they don't like to hear. That is not what democracies do. That is what autocracies do. And it doesn't matter whether you agree with Kimmel or not. He has the right to free speech.
First of all, we're not a democracy. We're a constitutional republic. He, of all people, he has been in public office for like 125 years. He should know this. Somebody needs to tell him. But I just feel like they shouldn't be lecturing us on what Xi would do. And it's like when they've been all about institutional indoctrination for like the past at least 20 years since we've been doing this as chicks. That's what they've been all about. That's one of the reasons that Charlie Kirk was shot and killed, is because of their institutional indoctrination, whether it be in educational institutions or with the media. They have had control of that. They are responsible for it. So I find it very interesting that he's talking about Xi. Oh my God.
Yeah, I find it very, yeah, you're right. It's just complete hypocrisy. And I can't stand to hear it from them after Biden just spent the last 4 years using our FBI to intimidate Facebook and intimidate Twitter, to go after private citizens for stuff that we were posting on Facebook to our friends or on Twitter. There are a million right-wing content creators, including you, I know, that were censored by these private organizations that were pressured by the government to do it. And now they come out and say, and they pretend it didn't happen. We've all read the Twitter files. Mark Zuckerberg has testified in front of Congress under oath that the government intimidated him and pressured him to implement censorship rules all over his platform. And then Democrats are like, this has never happened before. No one has ever been told not to say something. It's like, you guys, this is another thing, a game that you invented. Do not be mad that we're playing while we have control of the board. Like, I hope we play as hard as possible.
Totally. Mock and I are amazed sometimes that we made it through like the censorship years of, what was it, like 2017 through 2020, 2022, probably. We made it through that. I can't believe we did, because so many of our counterparts were just completely shut down. And it was because they were targeting conservatives. Remember when they were targeting conservatives, like the IRS was targeting conservatives, remember, under Obama? I mean, it's like, you cannot tell me that that wasn't just completely institutional and they were going after conservatives. They can suck it when it comes to that. They can absolutely suck it. That's not what this is about. This is about a guy not doing his job well and him getting fired for it. You are not entitled to a job, period. You're not. But Psaki thinks you are. I call her Psaki. Peppermint Patty, she totally thinks you are too. And again, she's talking about democracy. This is her reaction.
I think is a pretty watershed moment. I think we all need to be talking about. We actually, and it's not just a media story. I know you agree with me on this. It's not just a media story. It's a democracy story. It's a freedom of speech story. It's so many things. And I've been thinking a lot today about how I lived through years of answering questions from a lot of these network journalists, people who ask tough questions. Sometimes I was pissed off at them. That's part of what we do. And this is threatening that.
Yeah, it's more of this democracy stuff. We're not a democracy. Who is going to tell these people? My God.
What? I just have a very real question about what charity is keeping MSNBC alive. Like, who is watching this? And that entire segment is nonsense.
I have the answer.
Jimmy Kimmel's not a journalist.
It's called George Soros. That's it. I think he's keeping a lot of things alive. That's him. Right.
So much charity in his heart to keep propping up that absolute failure dumpster fire.
Him and
of a network.
And his devil commie son that just married Huma Abedin. Yeah, they're keeping a lot of that alive. I'm pretty sure it's Soros. Yeah. I just, and this is the thing, she and so many other people now, because they cannot handle not being the victim for 5 seconds. They can't handle it. They have to go on all the, oh my God, he's trying to shut down like free speech. Okay. That's not what's happening here. And it's nuts. And they're not the only people. It's not just the legacy media. It's podcasters, you guys. So there is, listen, the possum person on the podcast that shall not be named, because I'm not going to name it here. It drives me insane when I see this stuff, because it's all about making money and getting clicks. And they use this wonderful man's death, his assassination, to do that. And that's precisely what these chicks are doing. But they came out with a video on September the 12th. Okay. So this is what, like 2 days after it happened? And it's still up. You see that it says Kirk shooter was MAGA. It's still up. You guys, this video has about 1 million views. And I went and looked at the comments yesterday, and the comments are overwhelming. Like, MAGA owes us an explanation. They owe us an apology. This is all their fault. You would not believe the comments on this. Like, what do you think that they think happened to Tyler Robinson? Because he was indoctrinated. He was indoctrinated because he did not understand the truth about Charlie Kirk. And the reason he didn't understand the truth about him is because of bitches like them. That's why he didn't understand, because he was told that Charlie Kirk was a racist and a homophobe and a transphobe and a xenophobe, and he was misogynist, and he was all of these things. People lied about Charlie Kirk, and they continue to lie. And that's why that guy became indoctrinated in a certain way. And he did what he did. And it continues to happen. That's why this stuff is continuing to happen, because these people lie on the left. They just do not know the truth. It drives me crazy. This is why we are not the same. This is why. And this is why we need to call out these people's lies, because they continue to do it. They make money off of it, and they just are shameless about it. It's absolutely shameless. It's still out there. That video is still out there. 1 million views. They put it out early, and I think intentionally. I think they do know the truth, but they want to get ahead of the story. I'm going to be a nerd for a second, but in grad school, I studied foreign propaganda. That was my thing. And we used to talk all the time about how the intention of the KGB was to put out propaganda for the regime so that when the truth came out, people had already heard the lie so many times that they didn't believe the truth, because the lie, they heard the lie first, they heard it the most, and they never believed the counter to that, because it felt like the truth, because it was the first thing they heard. Precisely. And I see that from these psychos. Like, I think they put that out the second that they could, so that when the truth came out, people are like, oh, but I already heard the scoop. And I heard it 1 million times. Why would that podcast lie to me? Right. It's putting the toothpaste back in the tube. It's putting the toothpaste back, because you put the toothpaste out, you cannot put it back in the tube. This is you're absolutely right, 100%, and that it's a tactic that commies use, and our media uses it all the time. We've seen the New York Times do it, and all the other ones that are like it, right? Where they put a lie out, and then they have to retract that lie, and that the retraction is like way down at the bottom, where you can barely see it. No one sees it, or like the lie just like spreads like wildfire. It's all over the internet, kind of like those bitches in that podcast. They put the lie out there. And if they are forced to actually put the truth out, it's going to be like this tiny little retraction where like, and it's too late. We may have said that. 1 million people read it, and they saw it, and they believed it, and they literally internalized it, and they have so much hate in their hearts now. But we're going to put this tiny little retraction out. The damage is done. The indoctrination is done. And then there are people out there who are like, oh my God, he hates me. I mean, this is the thing. If you don't believe me, and if you don't believe that lies have consequences, and that Charlie Kirk was killed by some random dude who believed that stuff because of this indoctrination, because I truly believe that that's the problem, right? Watch this woman, this terrified woman. Just look at this video. Watch this video.
Absolutely horrible week. And I feel bad. I feel bad for that man's wife and the children. I do. But I don't think people understand how seeing so many people venerate a person who would say the things that this man said about Black people, seeing them put him on a pedestal, and seeing people get fired because they simply said, I'm not celebrating it, but I'm not going to give it my focus.
She's never watched Charlie Kirk. She's going on what she's been told by others. I am 100% positive about that. She doesn't know anything about Charlie Kirk. She doesn't. And she is terrified, you guys. She's just terrified by stuff that she doesn't even know anything about. And she is representative of so many people. Think about that. Think of how many people that she represents. She is blindly believing in a narrative that has been fed to her by crazy people, by liars, like those chicks in that podcast, which drives me insane. I'm just like, it's crazy. It doesn't need to be happening. Okay. It's kind of like the lie about the whole, there are good people on both sides things. Remember the Charlottesville thing where people are like, Trump is a racist. No, he's not. He's not. And that's not the full quote. And if you knew the full quote, and remember that was like toothpaste out of the tube, trying to put it back in because there was a full quote. Nobody listened to it. And they just ran with, oh, he's a racist. Well, that's easy for you to say that. You want to shut the conversation down. But if you actually listen to the whole quote, you would realize he's actually not. He's not a racist. So I just like seeing that woman so terrified. It's insane.
She says that people were fired for not celebrating, but for saying that they wouldn't memorialize. I was like, that's also not what happened. So I don't think she does a lot of her own thinking.
Right.
And sometimes I wonder how much easier that would be.
Yeah.
If just to live like that. Like she seems to just take some order and be upset or happy about whatever someone tells her to. And I'm like, sometimes that kind of sounds good.
It would be easy, right? But they call themselves the party of the intellectually elite. Wouldn't that be nice, right? But listen, the reality is different. Charlie Kirk was not a racist. I put a thing out on our Instagram yesterday. It's a completely different video. There's so many examples that show how he was not racist. But here's just one video. This is one of many. I want
you to think about what I asked you.
Okay, you mind if I have a hat?
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
Great points. I would say that I am with you for the idea of a colorblind society. I think it's a bit of a farce to say that colorblind society is something we should aspire to, but I think it's a farce to think that it doesn't exist, that race doesn't play a factor. I totally agree.
Okay. Yeah, you're black, but it doesn't matter. It's not the most important thing. Instead, it's, are you a good person? How do you act? How do you treat other people? Are you a Christian? Like, what is your worldview? I want to get back to that. Of course, we're still going to see differences, but I want to de-emphasize them to a place where we look at each other as fellow human beings and fellow American citizens.
So good.
Thank you so much, man. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Hey, can I get a hat from my buddy?
I mean, that doesn't seem racist to me. I don't know about you guys, but that's just one example of a gajillion. You can go out there and look, but a lot of these people, they don't want to. They don't want to do critical thinking. They don't want to look for themselves. They just want to be fed a narrative. Like you said, it's just lazy. It's so freaking lazy, you guys. Okay. So we have to talk more about this. There's another clip that I want to talk to you about, which there's a woman at MSNBC that's saying that we're at war. But before we do that, I need to talk to you about dogs. Dogs, because Corinne was telling me about her. What is it? Your 120-pound dog that you have? What kind of dog do you have? A Saint Bernard?
It's a Saint Bernard poodle.
It's a Saint Bernard poodle, you guys. And we have 3 dogs. We have one that is like a shepherdy kind of dog that we adopted. And he's a scratchy, itchy, allergy mess. But Ruff Greens has made a huge difference. And it's really from the inside out. We've also seen a huge difference in Theo. Coda, he's always been good. He's always been really good when it comes to like skin and stuff like that. But Theo, when he came to us, he was basically like a mangy stray and his coat was just gross and coarse. And now he's all shiny and soft and he smiles, you guys. He legit smiles. And a lot of that is love, of course. When you give them love, they smile. But it's also inside out nutrition because most dog food, it doesn't have any nutrition in it because the high heat cooking like sucks it all out. But Ruff Greens puts it back. So all you have to do is just add a little scoop a day and it adds probiotics and antioxidants and vitamins and minerals, 25 life-giving nutrients that your dog needs. And it's really, really great for them. So give them the gift of health. Try it. Just see. You can start today with a free jumpstart bag at roughchicks.com. Just use promo code CHICKS. All you got to do is pay for shipping. You can try it and just see if they like it. It's roughchicks.com, promo code chicks. Okay, so as if the line wasn't enough, the same people that claim to be like the party of tolerance and compassion and love and kumbaya, they were talking about being at war 3 days after Charlie was assassinated. Check this out.
And we absolutely will win this war. It is a war. It is indeed a war. And I have to say, they have won some battles, Jasmine, but we have to keep our eye on the war, and everybody needs to pick up a weapon and get involved, because this is for the safety and lasting of the country.
I can't. Like, they're the ones who are always like, tone down the rhetoric, let's turn it down. We're the party that we always do that. I call bullcrap.
I think that maybe we are at war, and conservatives have been reluctant to acknowledge that the left thinks they're fighting a war against us. And we think, because we say we're not, that we're not in a war, but they are picking up the weapons and they are coming for us. And maybe we should listen to them. Like, listening to that, I'm like, maybe it is a war. Maybe we need to be prepared to battle these people, because they don't think like us. They aren't like us.
Right. We are not the same. And I think when we start to fight back a little, like when we show that we are resilient and we are strong and we start standing up, they're like, wait a second, you're not supposed to do that because you guys have never done that before. And then they get freaked out because, we're capable. We're capable of doing that. It's just that we don't do it like they do it. Mm-hmm. We're not malicious, but if you poke us, you better watch out, So yeah, I don't know. Things are about to get interesting. I just think we're just at this weird crossroads, They talk about it, and then we talk about like this, I guess it's a crossroads. I guess that's what you want to call it. But they're talking about how we're at a turning point, right? And we are at a turning point. I think our turning points are different. It is a spiritual war. For us, I think that's what it is. For them, it's something very different. But for us, it is something that's very spiritual. And I think so many of us are looking at it in that way, which I think is a good thing.
I think you're right. And we talked a little bit about that yesterday, because at the very least, this has to be a wake-up call to our side. And
totally.
People will get more involved. And even if it's not political, but just going to church and being involved in their community, that is still a win for culture and a win.
Oh my God.
For
it's a
humanity.
Win for humanity. Absolutely. Without question. We have to talk about Ben Stiller. I know you guys are excited to talk about him and how he's upset about all the consequences of people in his industry. But first, speaking of like war, this chick is seeking vengeance for the firings.
Self-meaning in life by trying to get people fired because they didn't act like their favorite grandfather died when Charlie Kirk passed. That's going to cut both ways. You know that, right? See, Joe Biden is an old man, and tragically, when his day comes and we are all devastated, mourning the loss of a great leader of our country, and you guys show any joy, you show any humor, you start to talk about the conspiracy theories that you've been peddling for the last decade about him and his family, you start to harass his family or implicate them in his passing or say that there was some kind of cover-up, that will make me feel very unsafe to have you serving in any kind of job, especially one that would be facing the public, because he was president of the United States of America. It won't just be for Biden either. It'll be the next time that you cheer on when a liberal influencer gets harassed at a traffic light, or when you go on your podcast and say that the patriot who assaulted a Democratic lawmaker's husband should be bailed out, or when you shrug off the assassination of a Democratic lawmaker.
Okay, so Jimmy Carter passed away, just a short while ago. What did we do? He was a Democratic lawmaker. He kind of sucked too. But I mean, what did we do? I don't remember anybody acting like dicks. Do you?
And here's the biggest point. So when Joe Biden is allowed to die of old age,
right,
in a natural way,
yes,
that is the biggest thing. Are we worried? Are they even worried that someone is going to kill him?
No.
Because how are you making yourself the victim out of this? Like, man just died. A 31-year-old man just died.
Well, they're there, Corinne, because they are always the victims. I mean, this is the thing. They will make a way to make themselves the victims, because they're going to compare apples to watermelons. This is what they do. But you're right. It's not the same. It's totally not the same. Uh-huh.
And they pretend that they have the same fear. Like, you guys celebrated and hoped that when Trump was shot at, that he was killed. And then Charlie Kirk was killed and it was celebrated. And a few people lost their jobs over celebrating that. And the only thing that you can think is that when Joe Biden dies of natural causes, Republicans will talk about how he was a bad president.
Yeah, and we should lose our jobs over it. Right.
Yeah. Then we're a risk to society for talking about how he was a terrible president.
Yeah.
There's not anything remotely the same about that. And
not at all.
That girl has fired me up. I don't like her.
Corinne's like, I hate her. Yeah.
I hate that girl.
Rightly so. She is a skank. All right. So, right. Okay. So we're going to talk about Ben. Speaking of skanks, let's talk about Ben Stiller. Y'all know who that is. He's upset. You guys, Schumer, are upset because there's consequences to being a jerk and saying jerky things, and then people looking at you and saying you're kind of a jerk. He doesn't like that. So here he is talking about his art.
Yeah, I think we probably. I think everybody's going to have their own personal reaction, and it's impossible not to be aware of the fact that people feel this, that, oh, wow, there can be retribution from the government if you say something wrong. And that's really scary. So just to even be thinking that way is, but of course I'm aware of it. I think everybody's aware of it. And, certain people are just naturally more outspoken and always have been. And I've sort of had my own path with it. But right now, I think it's definitely a thing that people feel. And in a way, for me, it makes me think about it even more about, well, what do I really want to say and how do I really feel about something? And I think for artists in times like these, that their creative energy really goes into expressing, what they feel. And there's a lot of amazing work that can come out of times like these.
The self-importance is so funny. I mean, because when I think of great contributions to art, I think of Zoolander. It's Shakespearean, really. I
mean, that is a classic. Don't insult it.
It is. I know. Really. It's like Blue Steel. I think of that. He's worried about an authoritarian government, you guys. But again, it's like he didn't live as a conservative for all those years when they were being oppressive towards conservatives. And we were living under the thumb of the Obama and the Biden regimes, which we did. We lived through that. I can't. And I think this is such an interesting clip, the one that I'm about to play, because Charlie Kirk experienced that. And Charlie Kirk...
because you thought it was a restoration of the Judeo-Christian values that are inherent to the country, the Constitution.
Let me tell you why, because I think you might appreciate this as a historian. Joe Biden sent the entire federal government after Turning Point USA and me personally. They wanted me in federal prison.
Right.
And by the way, that's what despots do, not Donald Trump. Let me finish. And so when Donald Trump won, it was a sigh of relief that maybe I won't have to go to federal prison. Sure. Maybe I can actually be around my kids. And maybe we can live in a free society.
Yeah. I mean, pummel them with the truth, you guys. Just pummel them with it.
I think it's being brushed over a little that Chuck Grassley revealed at that hearing, I think on Tuesday or Wednesday, that the FBI had been investigating Turning Point and Charlie Kirk because of them saying that the 2020 election was stolen, which I will say, totally think it was stolen. And they were trying to go after him and put him in jail for that, using our government resources. So I don't know. I feel like we all feel the same way, but listening to Ben Stiller cry because he's worried that people might face some kind of consequence for their own actions. Do you guys realize what you have been doing throughout the Obama administration and the Biden administration, targeting private citizens and conservative organizations?
They have no idea.
For thinking anything.
Right. They have no idea because they weren't on the receiving end of it. They weren't. Yeah. I mean, did he cry and bitch and moan when people lost their jobs because they wouldn't get a vaccine? That's authoritarian.
Yeah.
That's authoritarian. People lost their businesses, you jackhole, while you sat in your mansion. Get bent.
People lost their lives over that.
People weren't able to see their family members while they died alone in a hospital. You don't get to preach about being an authoritarian. This administration is not authoritarian. I just cannot with these people. He's the one that would get into those PSAs, which we're going to play a couple of those, the black and white PSAs where they'd all chant about doing your part and everything. Suck it. You don't get to do that. You know what makes me happy though, is that Republicans are moving to censure Ilhan Omar over the Charlie Kirk assassination remarks. That actually makes me happy. There's some back and forth tweets about it. She and Nancy Mace are sparring, and I am here for it. I mean, this is what our politicians are doing now, but they're sparring. Nancy Mace said, "We would love to see you deported back to Somalia next." And Ilhan said, "Would love to see you get the help you need next. You belong in rehab, not Congress." They're fighting, y'all. They're fighting.
I know that some people get so mad when Congress people act so petty, but I love it because it reminds us that they are just people. I think there's sometimes this idea that Congress is supposed to be this intellectual, elevated level of society. And it's like, no, they're a bunch of dorks that don't deserve respect a lot of the time.
No.
And this is how they act.
Right.
So I love when they get reality TV star levels of petty, because that is who they are. And we should be totally aware that that is who they are.
They're dorks that get like almost $200,000 a year of our hard-earned money, and then they get wildly, exaggerated benefits that they don't really deserve from us for the rest of their lives. But that's neither here nor there. It's like, I'm not bitter. I'm not bitter about it at all, you guys. I'm not. No. Also, there is a new act, a Charlie Kirk act, that targets government propaganda on U.S. campuses after his assassination. Also delighted about this. So this is in the wake of his assassination. Senator Mike Lee has introduced the Charlie Kirk Act to reinstate bans from the 1948 Smith-Mundt Act, prohibiting U.S. government propaganda from targeting domestic audiences, including college campuses. Thank you, Jesus. Okay, so the bill is backed by Anna Paulina Luna and also Glenn Beck, which I think is fantastic. And it's responding to reports of over $6 billion, billion with a B, in unreported foreign donations from nations like Qatar and China to U.S. universities. So I guess there's investigations going on right now into potential links to campus unrest. So they're trying to figure that out. So Anna Paulina Luna went on to Charlie Kirk's show, which was being hosted by our favorite Glenn Beck. I just love him. So she was talking about how foreign governments have completely infiltrated our universities, which is true. And a lot of that infiltration is, countries like China and Qatar or Qatar, however the hell you want to pronounce it. So check this clip out.
What Charlie was fighting, this indoctrination that was taking place on college campuses, these weren't just, liberal professors from the 60s that had been radicalized, right? Like, this is actually a foreign government funded operation. And a lot of these left-wing organizations that have been pushing these violent riots, the targeted campaigns, a lot of the people that have associations with these groups that are calling for assassinations of the president, of conservative commentators, and even of, Charlie's family are tied to these organizations. And I guess what I'd like to share today is, so, Glenn, that we were on the show talking about Neville Singham, how he was funding the Party of Socialism and Liberation, coding a lot of the stuff. Comer signed on a letter to the U.S. Treasury to freeze all of his assets. And I just met with Judge Janine, and he's guilty of a FARA violation. I think the Department of Justice is going to be charging him with that. So,
miracle of
for
miracles.
Charlie.
Miracle of miracles.
Yeah, I think that's great. I really hope that they need to get all of this infiltration out of our schools. I think that is such a huge problem. The money that is pouring into I don't like it. I don't like any of it. I hate all the China stuff. I hate the Qatar stuff. I don't like it at all.
I'm completely with you. And I don't see any benefit at all, because the indoctrination is one point, but they're also pouring thousands of students into these universities and driving up the costs for the average American.
Right.
And how does that benefit us? Now it's more expensive. So our kids are in debt, or their parents are fronting the bill for it. Either way, you're hurting the American economy by dumping money into these institutions that we don't need to be doing.
And they're taking slots away from American students.
Exactly.
So it's harder and harder for kids to get these slots. And you walk around these campuses and you're like, is this an American university or what? Where am I? Honestly, we're looking at colleges heavily for my 15-year-old. That's what we're doing. And I'm just like, I don't like any of these places that I used to like when I was in college or when I was college aged. I'm looking around going, what the hell is this? So they have changed. The landscape of colleges are completely different than they were 20, 30 years ago. And a lot of it has to do with this crap. It's not okay. They're not American universities anymore. These universities have sold out. It's crazy.
Yeah, it has to change either way. People are going to stop sending their kids there entirely, or they're going to have to clean up their act and be appealing to American college students again.
Yeah, so I'm glad to see that at least legislatively, they're starting to look into this and do something about it. It's about time. Oh my God. I think Glenn Beck, I mean, he was saying he's been looking into this for years, for like well over a decade or two. He's been like wanting them to do this. So thank goodness. Quickly, we have to talk about Angel Studios, you guys. Sketch. If you haven't seen Sketch, it's such a great film. If you have kids or grandkids, this is something that you can watch with them and you don't have to worry about inappropriate things on the screen. And it's really great. Like, I really, really like this movie. I like all the movies that come out from Angel Studios because they're family friendly, but they're also just really good films. I have a hard time finding things that I like on television and the movies these days because I think all of it is just garbage. So much garbage. There's so many channels, so many things out there, so many choices, but literally 99% of it is garbage, honestly. And Sketch is just a really great family film that they have, and they have all sorts of other things that you can check into too. Teens can watch it, kids can watch it. You can become a premium Angel Guild member. You can see the movie, plus you can you can have a say in what they make and what they produce. If you become a premium Angel Guild member, you can join now at angel.com/chicks, which is really wonderful to be part of that process. Check out Sketch and the Angel app. Plus, you can get full access to the entire streaming library. It's just a perfect way to experience all of their things, all the family-friendly entertainment. Head to angel.com/chicks. Join, claim all your perks, angel.com/chicks. You guys do that. Okay. Trump was in the UK yesterday and today. He's doing, I think he did all the pomp and circumstance thingies yesterday. Today is more like policy is what they're going to be dealing with. But I love that Piers Morgan was gushing about how much respect that they were showing Trump yesterday. I wanted to show that clip to you guys.
I think this is a real statement by the king and by the senior members of the royal family. I mean, it's very rare they all get together like this for a visit by a foreign leader. They're doing it to make a point. I think they recognize the world feels a little bit precarious right now. You have two raging wars in Ukraine and in Gaza, and you have a lot of people, particularly since the appalling murder of Charlie Kirk, I think are feeling very tense about the way that issues like free speech are going in the world. And I think that the royal family want to make a statement. They are aligning themselves very publicly today with the President of the United States.
I mean, it's kind of sweet, right?
It is so sweet. And I'll be honest, I don't usually care what other nations think of us. Like, it doesn't bother me at all if Europe doesn't like America, whatever. Right. But it does make me so happy the way he's been embraced, and like seeing a sea of MAGA hats like cheering on the president as he is in England. It does make me so proud, because I cannot think of a foreign leader. Like, I would never wave another country's flag,
right,
like, in celebration of a state visit, like, ever. Yeah. So there's so much excitement, and that's kind of cute and sweet.
It is. It's very sweet. I think part of it is because a lot of people in the UK are sick of all the crap that's happening in the UK. You know what I mean? Like, they're looking around and they're like, we are falling, like, things are not good. And I think they're starting to see a surge to the right because things have just fallen, and it's gone so far to the left that they're like, oh God, course correct. They're freaking out a little bit. Sadiq Khan hates Trump. And so he blasted him for fueling far-right extremism in the UK, especially with the visit. He just doesn't like it, and he's criticizing him. So there's a tweet about that. Okay, he said President Trump has fanned the flames of the far right, and now a toxic form of politics is spilling out into our streets. These are dark times, but those who seek to divide us will not win. Oh my God, this guy is such a loser. And then somebody responded and said, I somewhat reluctantly work in London, Sadiq. I hold my phone in a vice-like grip if I have to use it on the street. After multiple incidents, I don't feel comfortable on public transport with my young son. Tent cities are popping up everywhere. Gangs roam the streets harassing people. Roads are frequently gridlocked. And there's parts of the city I wouldn't even go to. Perhaps get your own house in order before repeatedly criticizing others. Just a thought. Yeah. So, I mean, I think it's great that he's being embraced by the royals. And guys like Sadiq Khan should probably take all the seats. So it'll be interesting to see what happens today when he is there and they start discussing more politics stuff. And it's not just all the dinners and stuff like that. I will say that Catherine, she looked really beautiful yesterday. Like, I'm not a big royals person. I don't really like the royal family stuff. Mock is more of into that. She likes that stuff. I'm just not into it. Because we fought a revolution against those people and they can suck it. But you know what I mean? But she looked really beautiful yesterday and she was sick and then she got better and I'm like super happy for her. So she looks great.
She looks beautiful. And I loved the pictures coming out of her just having such a happy conversation with Trump, because I think sometimes that's all people see. And I'm glad to have that image out there because there's this lie that we talk about all the time about how no one likes Trump and he's just this arrogant, rude guy and no one likes him. And then you see this like very warm conversation between two people who maybe don't agree. I don't really know Princess Kate's politics at all, but they're being very warm to each other. And that is how it should be. We shouldn't have this like total crazy dynamic where they treat us like we're not humans. I think Princess Kate is showing a lot of warmth towards
she
Trump.
She just seems like a lovely person. So it was nice to see her yesterday. And I think I need to probably mention that the Federal Reserve slashed rates 25 basis points as the labor market cools. This is like a thing yesterday. And I guess I needed to mention that Jerome Powell just decided to, do something. I don't think that Trump is going to be happy about this. I hate the Fed. I just thought I'd mention it. I don't know how you feel about it, Corinne, if you wanted to add anything to that, but it happened yesterday.
I mean,
so.
The bare minimum slashed it like a 0.25%.
It was, yep. Yep. 25 basis
points. 0.25%.
Right.
I don't even think that will change the
it won't
market. And that's lame. I think the president was asking for real change in the face of our economic reality, and Jerome Powell gave us nothing.
I'll do the bare minimum. Bare minimum. That's basically what he did. So anyways, your mileage may vary. That happened yesterday. And then also Jim Jordan, he was doing things. And I have another clip of Kash Patel from The Hill. I just wanted to share this with you guys because I liked it because it was positive and we need some positivity. There's been a lot of negative stuff going on. And so this is a little bit of positivity. And it reminds me of what we voted for in this administration. Check out Jim Jordan just kind of drilling Kash Patel in this clip, which is awesome.
Director, yes or no, is the FBI still spying on parents at school board meetings?
No, sir.
Is the FBI still targeting Catholics?
No, sir.
Is the FBI still spying on President Trump?
I don't believe so.
Is the FBI still censoring Americans?
No, sir.
Is the FBI still targeting Americans for shopping at Cabela's or purchasing Bibles?
Nobody is targeted for their faith.
Is the FBI still targeting Americans who are pro-life?
Nobody is targeting anyone for their beliefs.
Is the FBI still cooking the books on crime data?
The crime data is real.
Is the FBI still purging agents for conservative viewpoints?
No one at the FBI has asked their viewpoints on policy.
Is the FBI still labeling the Betsy Ross flag, the flag of the American Revolution, a hate symbol?
No.
Well, maybe that's why you've been able to, what was the number? 23,000 bad guys you've arrested, a huge increase from the same time period in the previous administration. I think you said 1,400 predators, 4,000 children rescued. Were those the facts?
4,700, 35% increase on children rescued.
Boom. So that's happening. But all the things that he listed, when all the liberals talk about, oh my God, it's a dictatorship, it's an autocracy, blah. Did you hear all that? Did you hear that? Just putting it out there. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't like that Kash is like, are we spying on Donald Trump? And he's like, I don't think so. That was the only one he didn't say no to. I'm like, are we? Wait, are they still spying?
Did you just slip that one past the goalie? What's going on?
Yeah. What happened there?
Yeah. So, all right. So back to highlighting all the dim bulbs, like in our country, and then the dimmest ones are in the legacy media, and I have to talk about that a little bit. So CNN, God, I hate CNN. I really don't like them and MSNBC, but they're a perfect example of like this denial culture that's happening on the left, where we haven't done anything. We're awesome. We're just lying, and we haven't done anything, and we're victims and blah. But there's a clip from 2024. This is Shermichael Singleton. He was on a panel on CNN back in 2024. And God bless him. It just shows like where we are in this country. And this is something that Greg Gutfeld touched on the other day. And I want to make sure I get the quote right. You guys remember the clip where he just verbally destroyed Jessica Tarlov. And that, I don't even want to call it a rant. It was a thing of beauty. It was a soliloquy. And he said, if you can decide that biology is false, you can agree that murder is okay and that humanity is expendable. That was beautiful. Just absolutely. And he's right. Absolutely right. Now let's revisit Shermichael in this clip, right? Getting dressed down back in 2024 by some twit on this panel. Check this out.
A lot of families out there who don't believe boys should play girls' sports.
They're not boys. I'm not going to listen to transphobia at this table. I am not going to listen to you call a trans girl a boy.
Are you going to allow me to finish my explanation?
When you use a word that's a slur, I'm going to interrupt. That's not how it is. They're not boys. They're not boys. They're not playing girls' softball. I'm not going to sit there and listen to that.
Let's reset for a second, because, look, this is a really heated issue, right? And Shermichael, I know you. I know that you understand that people have different views on this. I think out of respect for Jay, like, let's try to talk about this in a way that is respectful.
Okay, so let me rephrase this, since I'm being targeted here.
I don't, just to be clear, you are not being targeted.
I am, but it's okay.
I'm specifically saying that I know that you are not intending to be transphobic.
He should know that I'm not. But he wants to sit here and bloviate.
I'm saying you're using a phrase
I want to give you
Okay. All right. So there they were, denying the truth. Okay. And she established the premise that, hi, this is a show where if you speak the truth, we will shut you down. All right. Now I'm going to show you a clip in a second of Abby Phillips and a bunch of other people on this panel just denying the fact that there are people in this country who cheered the death of Charlie Kirk, right? She's just there. And then she calls them random because she says, okay, well, if there are people that did cheer on the death of Charlie Kirk, I mean, they're just random people. So they don't matter because, I mean, random people don't matter. Listen to this clip.
Acknowledges that there have been thousands upon thousands of people, ordinary people, who have taken to social media to celebrate this, yes or no?
I don't know about that. I don't know.
I have high school friends who are.
Hold on a second. Hold on. I just think we should we got to be factual about this, right?
Yeah.
I don't think you know the scope. I don't know the scope. But I do think that we have to distinguish between random people in the world and something that is a dominant issue.
Because the person who shot Charlie Kirk was a random person.
Exactly.
What is she even talking about? It's like, what? So the person has to be like a celebrity or somebody of importance to her, because that is who they're indoctrinating, is random people by spewing their crap and their lies. That's who they're indoctrinating. That's who they're turning these people. That's what they're doing. They're making these people into killers. Frankly, that's what they're doing, because
And what have we learned today, except random people are allowed to say this thing because they're random, but also people like Jimmy Kimmel are allowed to say it because they're celebrities.
Special.
So where's the line?
Right.
They're just allowed to celebrate murder.
Exactly.
If that's what you believe, then just say that. Why is it always they like pick pieces and then just lie to us about like, well, that's okay because of this fake thing, and that's okay because of this other fake thing. It's like, just admit that you guys want to celebrate the murder of an innocent man.
Yeah. It's just really, it's very key to understand that they they are rationalizing the lies that they've been telling over the past however many years. It's been over a decade. It's just like they've been the ones that have been lying and perpetuating a lot of these narratives that are just not true. They're not true. Mm-hmm. And then it's like, well, I mean, it's okay to hate those people. It's okay to do this. It's okay to lie. It's okay. It actually isn't okay, because what it's led to is violence. That's what it's led to. And these people have to come to terms with the fact that they have been the cause of this. And it's just, I mean, like, here's a random whack job that's one of thousands. This chick.
Look, I don't know who needs to hear this today, but that's how you pick up a woman. Oh, no.
Oh, wait. I think that we didn't get the first part of it, but she was talking about Charlie Kirk. She was basically talking about how she was delighted about Charlie Kirk dying. And she's like, that's how you pick up a woman. So she's one of thousands. I mean, there's a gajillion of those. You get out on X, you get out on social media, and you're going to see a ton of women that are like her. Right. So there are a lot of crazy people out there, you guys. And then there's this whole other faction of folks that are trying to blame Israel for it, which I don't understand that. I don't want to get into the whole Candace and Tucker and Dave Smith thing. We're not going to do that today, but there are people that are doing that. And I hate it. I just hate that that's where they're going. I mean, there hasn't even been a funeral for Charlie Kirk. And they're doing this. And I just think it's gross and it's vulture-like. And I just find it to be despicable behavior on the part of some people that are out there in the, I guess, the podcastosphere, if you want to call it that. Bibi Netanyahu actually made a statement about this, which I thought was really interesting, that he felt like he had to do this, but he did. So here it is.
Propaganda minister said that the bigger the lie, the faster it will spread. Well, somebody has fabricated a monstrous big lie that Israel had something to do with Charlie Kirk's horrific murder. This is insane. It is false. It is outrageous. Charlie Kirk was a giant, a once-in-a-century talent who defended freedom, defended America, defended our common Judeo-Christian civilization. Charlie loved Israel. He loved the Jewish people. He told me so in a letter that he sent me just a few months ago. One of my greatest joys as a Christian, he said, is advocating for Israel and forming alliances with Jews to protect Judeo-Christian civilization.
Yeah, so he felt that he had to do that because just that whole rumor mill is rampant online, which is just so freaking stupid.
Yeah, I don't think he should have, honestly. There's no reason for him to acknowledge something that I actually don't think a lot of mainstream people are saying at all. But it is sad that the worst part of the internet always likes to say
right
the worst things.
Yeah, what I will remind everybody about is that Hamas has had hostages since October 7th of 2023. So that is 717 days. Those people have been in captivity. So just putting that out there. 717 days. They still have hostages, FYI. This is a tweet from Dana Loesch. She's actually like she's basically a coworker of ours on Radio America. Everyone who disagrees with me is paid by AIPAC, Israel. Everyone who disagrees with me is a Nazi. They're the same thing. The people who debate like this use the same tactics that contributed to a man's murder last week. Do better. I cannot agree with this more. I am so sick of seeing this in our social media. Like, if you say anything about, everybody just believes that Mock and I are paid by Israel. I would like the check.
Yeah, where's the check?
I'd love it. So if they want to pay us, delighted to do it. I'm happy to continue to support Israel. I would love the check. By all means, send it to my house because I have college to pay for, a third kid's college.
What I think is weird of all of these people is they're all like, well, Charlie told me and Charlie told me. It's like, we have all heard, there are like 4,000 hours of video of Charlie online.
Right.
Like, I don't think we need anybody to be saying like what he believes. It's very clear. You can look it up and I don't need anyone to translate it for me. So I don't I don't like the back and forth, and I would be so mad if this was a family member or a friend of mine.
Can you imagine his wife? Can you imagine his wife right now? I'd be so pissed about all that.
Like, you guys don't have to translate what he thought on any side. I don't think Bibi needs to be telling people what Charlie thinks. I don't think Tucker needs to be telling people what Charlie thinks. Like, we know what Charlie thinks. He spoke for a living. That's what he did.
Exactly.
So we can look it up.
About everything. He was very clear about how he felt about everything. Exactly. But thank goodness that celebrities are like wearing their little scarf that goes with everything. And then they're giving us opinions about Palestine with a PSA. There's this.
Palestine.
Palestine.
Palestine. Together for Palestine.
We have to tell the truth on behalf of the people of Palestine.
It's always been the artist's role in society to speak out.
Yeah.
To risk speaking truth to power.
Together, we know that the leaders of this country are complicit in the mass murder of civilians in Gaza and the West Bank.
Palestine ke liye ek saath.
Okay. All right. All of them are the same. All those PSAs are the same. Every single one of them. The only thing that was different about that one is it was in color and not black and white. Because usually they're all in black and white and they just chant one after another. Y'all remember this one from 2020? 2020 was one of the cringiest years ever, by the way. Remember this one?
I take responsibility.
I take responsibility. I take responsibility.
They take responsibility.
For every unchecked moment. For every time it was easier to ignore than to call it out for what it was.
Every not so funny joke. Every unfair stereotype.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So do you remember that one? Do you remember?
Yes. And I think it's hilarious. Like, it's so bad.
It's like, I take
it
responsibility.
circles back to being good, but not for the reason that they think.
Right. And Kristen Bell is in all of them. Seriously, yesterday I was looking through, like, what are the worst, cringiest the celebrity PSAs of all time? She's in like all of them. Does she have a contract with PSA people? Like all the PSA directors? It's like, I think she's like she has to be in every single PSA. It's really bizarre. But listen, they're all in luck because there's a new app for them. It's a new app, you guys.
A lot of terrible things happen in the world, but sometimes you forget to blame Israel. That's why I've launched the Blame Israel Reminder app. It scans news 24/7, and whenever tragedy strikes, you instantly get alerted on your phone reminding you to blame Israel. A celebrity murdered? Obviously Mossad.
Here we go.
A horrific pandemic? Gotta be the Jews. Market crashes? Come on, that one's too obvious. Don't ever find yourself in that uncomfortable position.
It's great. I wish we would have played the whole thing because it's really great, you guys. There's an app. The Blame Israel app. Yeah, it's really, really good. Okay.
I think the Blame Israel app is just Twitter. But
is it?
I don't know. I'm just kidding. I don't know.
I think it's actually Instagram. They hate Israel on Instagram. Believe me, because I run our Instagram. Oh my God.
Oh no.
They love Candace. Hate Israel. Believe me, I deal with them all the time. All right. The subject of immigration, we haven't talked about that in a while. Like just in a hot minute. And I thought we could revisit that today. It's basically one of the most important issues of the last election. And I'm in Texas. It's really important. I feel like that is it's just a super serious issue. And I find videos from white liberal women, like the one we're about to see, in like well-decorated, empty homes with no illegals in the background. I don't see any illegals in her like hanging around in the background. I find them to be very off-putting. So let's watch this.
Small town in Tennessee, we have individuals that are being detained by ICE in restaurants and work sites. I cannot believe that I am seeing this in my lifetime. The community is rattled to its core. I was on the phone last night with a Hispanic pastor.
Really?
People are looking for family members. This is unbelievable. This is really unbelievable. And I want to speak directly to the people that are sitting at home and saying, well, they're in this country illegally and they need to get out. Because that's absolutely ridiculous. And the punishment does not fit the crime. I also want you to be really careful before you start using law as a measurement of morality.
What?
Because once upon a time, slavery was legal.
Chick is chick. You can't use law as a measure of morality. I mean, so if you like rob somebody or murder them, or I mean, that's it. That has no indication of whether or not you're moral, you guys. Not at all.
Okay, let's not. It's not a measure of morality. I didn't say you were a bad person. I just said you had to get out. That's the thing. You can be a good person. You still have to be deported. Get out. If you're here illegally, I didn't say that you were immoral. I said that you are illegal. Get out.
Yeah, it's always the white women in their big ass homes that are, I mean, seriously, did you see that behind her? Beautiful, empty. She's probably, seriously, you know, that chick is like stay-at-home mom and she just sits at home all day and she just complains, complains about, oh my God, these poor illegals. Why aren't they in your house then? You know, you have 4 spare bedrooms just sitting there in that giant ass house in Tennessee. So put them in there.
Yep. I also know that this comparison to slavery is hilarious because they've been arguing on behalf of cheap labor for the last 4 years. That's why they want to keep illegal immigrants in the country. So are you telling me that you would have been anti-slavery, the ultimate cheap labor? Right. I don't think so. You're not really coming from a real place here. I know that they're not. They would not have been anti-slavery, and then that's why they're pro-illegal immigrant. Mm-hmm. They are dehumanizing these people and think they need to live like this.
Right. They take all the crappy jobs. They clean the houses. They clean their toilets. They prepare their food. This is the thing. That's what Hispanics are good for to the white liberal women. These people are despicable. They really are. And then this liberal white woman, she's afraid of Erica Kirk, you guys. I find she's personally threatened by Erica Kirk. Behold.
All right. So I wanted to watch Charlie Kirk's wife talk. And I wanted to feel sympathy, compassion for her. And I'm going to be very honest with you. I felt threatened.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
I felt threatened by her words. Let me start by saying it seemed awfully performative. Like,
oh my God.
Hunger Games performative. Like Handmaid's Tale performative.
Of course, Handmaid's Tale.
That's my opinion. It's just my opinion.
Mm-hmm. That's right. I wonder if she said anything about Irina Zarutska getting killed on the train and if she felt threatened by anything that surrounded that whole thing. I bet money that she didn't say a word about that. But she went on to say that there were dog whistles in that speech. And she felt very threatened by the dog whistles that Erica gave off. So there's a lot of narcissism in that video.
And hatefulness, honestly. How do you make a video about someone who lost their husband 2 days prior to that speech? Like, maybe just let it go.
Or just
it would make sense it would make sense if she was angry, I think. So maybe just let her be angry. I don't think her speech was particularly angry, but if she does, like, maybe just let it go.
Yeah, because she's a grieving widow. Exactly. Yeah. And it's not all about you, liberal dog whistle lady. Yeah. So, okay. So there's one more. If crazy dog whistle lady, she wants to hear threats, she should listen to this chick, Tempest. Like, if she thinks that Erica was threatening, Tempest is actually threatening people. Check this out.
Hi, my name is Tempest. And if you don't want me to step on your toes, move your fucking feet.
I can't with people like this. All right, I just had to throw her in because I thought she was funny. Can you imagine?
How do you pronounce the XE/XEM?
I don't even G. I think it's G. G. Yeah, I don't. Okay, she's very scary, you guys. Very scary. You guys okay? Are you guys all right? Should say okay. It's like Scrappy Doo. Remember?
Yes.
Anyway. All right. We have to have some funny things. The last couple things I'm going to show you. One is a video of Gavin Newsom yesterday. I could not see this alone, you guys. Okay. And if you could just imagine it being set to It's Raining Men, it'll just make it better in your brain. That's how I pictured it. Okay. Because he's clearly gay. All right. Let's play it.
I think it's critical. And at my own peril of entering into the political frame on this, I think my party is not invested in much, as much energy as they should in this space.
What is he doing? What is he doing?
The Gavin bot was malfunctioning.
He's doing the hand jive, and but you guys, this guy's going to run for president. It's going to be constant dancing, constant. Okay. The last thing that I have for you, since I don't have talks, but I feel like Mock would have played this. It's just a minute. It's a minute of babies laughing. Okay. Here we go.
That's what you do.
See, that makes everything better, right? Everything is better. All right, let's get to some super stickers. Let's do it. T Media and Publishing, Samantha here. First, prayers going up for Mock's healing. Yes, everybody pray for Mock. She's probably sleeping in a little bit today because I think it was a little bit painful yesterday, that surgery. And so she's recovering today. And I don't know. I think she's going to be back tomorrow. I think. If not, hopefully Corinne will be with us again tomorrow, but I think she'll be back tomorrow. I have a feeling that she will be, that she'll plow through and do that. Next, I'm going to try to find a compilation shorts on YouTube. Don't have Instagram of people sharing their reignited or newfound faith since 9/10. Do you know if such compilation exists? Fighting Lies with Truth. I am sure that there's one on X. I don't know if you're on X on Twitter, but I bet you there's one out there that somebody has made. Robert Clark, thank you for that super sticker. Robert Clark again. Jimmy Kimmel found out that the reciprocity, what goes around comes around, is a law just like gravity. That's right. Brian Brumley, hey, you entitled stupid commies. The government didn't shut him down. The affiliates did. If they refuse to air the garbage that the network put out, then the network goes out of business. It's true. It's true. Captain KV 602, President Trump is going after the Democrats' paramilitary organization, and they don't like it. Karen Elliott, many employers have a harmful words policy. If I say something that makes my coworkers feel threatened, they can fire me. It's not illegal. It's just not illegal to fire somebody too if they're a jerk. If you don't want that, if like we have a company, Mock and I, if Mock and I have somebody working for us and they start acting like a total biatch, we can fire that person. That's just what private companies can do. Jose Rodriguez, morning from Texas. On 9/13, my wife and I celebrated our 33rd anniversary. God has richly blessed me with a wonderful mate. Just take my money, what's left after 33 years. Happy anniversary, Jose. Karen Elliott, if ratings were good, he would still have a job. Exactly. I totally agree with you, Karen. Team Media and Publishing, Samantha again. I get the propaganda thing that he does, but I refuse to stop fighting back. Charlie, his family, this country, and Jesus deserve nothing less. Karen Elliott, the right can laugh at themselves, the left can't. Mike the Bear, thank you for that super sticker. Melissa Tuttle, remember, Americans can speak freely toward the government. Private entities do not have to follow the First Amendment. Get a clue, libs. R&R, so-called comedy has changed. When Anwar Sadat was assassinated, SNL did a touching tribute to him right after it happened. Now Kimmel, Fallon, and Seth Meyers celebrate. Demons are celebrating. That's right. Mike the Bear. Daisy, don't get mad when people say our democracy because they usually aren't referring to the form of government, but as a cultural term. Another way to say free society. Love you guys. Yeah, but I kind of wish that they'd say constitutional republic because that's what we are, you know? And I think that some of those people just have never read a history book and they don't really understand exactly what we are, especially on the left. Arnurm, Abby Phillips' random people comment sounded very much like Ilhan Omar's some people did some things comment. Do we remember that one? Oh, yeah, we remember. And the way that she said it so annoyingly in the way that I just said it. Yeah, because it's Ilhan Omar saying it like that. Yeah, you guys, thank Corinne again for filling in. Thank you, Corinne. I really appreciate you so much.
It's been so fun to talk to everybody and talk to you all morning. So great.
And tell everybody again where they can find you.
freepressfail.com, and I'm on X at Corinne C, and on Instagram as Corinne Clark.
Okay, everybody pray for Mock, and we will see you tomorrow. Have a lovely day. Bye, y'all.
Hello, beautiful people. This is the Chicks on the Right's Indian correspondent. Thank you for watching or listening. Be very sure to like, subscribe, and ring the bell to stay up to date on all of their delicious content. Okay, thank you. Come again.